Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In this video I am going to make my argument as to why the state of Wisconsin will flip back to the Democratic column in the 2020 election. In the 2016 election, you can see here Donald Trump was able to flip the state of Wisconsin by just under 1%. If we're going back to 2012 here, Obama won the state by 7 points. If you look in 2008, he won it by 14. 2004, John Kerry won it by 0.5%. Al Gore won this state. Bill Clinton won this state. Bill Clinton won this state again. Dukakis won this state. And going back all the way to 1984, that was the last time that the state of Wisconsin had gone Republican before the 2016 election, where Donald Trump was able to defeat Hillary Clinton. And this was not a resounding victory. It was by 20,000 votes. And it is only 10 electoral votes. But as we'll see here, we'll just fill in these states really quickly, how these states are actually going to go, not based off of the margins. Wisconsin is going to be a critical state when it comes to the actual election, and we're going to see that here. If we just fill in all of these states really quickly for the Democrats and the Republicans, it's going to put this election, it's going to come all the way down to the state of Wisconsin. If we're giving all of these states that I've predicted before, going to give me a second to Trump. If you look at all these states from before, as well as DC, it puts the Democrats at 268 and the Republicans at 260. This is a likely scenario in my opinion. Michigan was the closest. Pennsylvania was pretty close as well. I believe they would flip before Wisconsin. But this would put the Democrats 2 electoral votes away and the Republicans 10 electoral votes away. But it all comes down to the state of Wisconsin. Whoever wins the state of Wisconsin in this situation, which I believe to be a likely situation, is going to win the presidency. And I'm going to show you why I believe that the state of Wisconsin will be going blue. If we start off here by looking at the approval ratings, this is just his national approval ratings of likely or registered voters. If you look at all polls, it's even lower. If you look at adult polls, it's even lower than that. But we're going to put in likely or registered voters because those are the people that are actually voting. And you'll see that Donald Trump at the moment has a 43% approval rating and a 52% disapproval rating, and this is pretty bad for him. He has never cracked above 46%, which is the percentage of the vote that he got in the 2016 election. He has just been below that the entire time during his presidency, which is similar to Obama, but Obama was able to win Wisconsin to start with by 14 votes. Donald Trump only won the state by 0.8%, and that was against a very corporate and establishment candidate of Hillary Clinton that was very unpopular, more unpopular than even Trump was. And Trump was able to win its state's 10 electoral votes only by 20,000 votes, with all the Russian thing happening and everything related to that. Donald Trump was only able to win by 20,000 votes. If we're going to go over to here to the 2018 elections, and I am aware this was a wave year, but you see a Democratic incumbent for the Senate, Tammy Baldwin, was able to win the state by 11%, 11 percentage of margin by 300,000 votes. She got more votes than Hillary Clinton in a midterm election. That was with 67% turnout. I'm not sure what this is, but it was definitely lower, and she was able to win by an 11% margin. And that shows that even during a wave year, that Wisconsin is still a blue state at heart, as it had been since 1984. Looking at the House of Representatives seats, nothing much had changed, but during the wave year, the Democrats had won seats by larger margins, but all of these seats just generally had been by very large margins, the closest one being the 6th district, which was 11 points, so that's not going to show you much in the House of Representatives district. If you're looking at the governor's election, this is one of the most telling, a 1.1% victory for Tony Evers, the Democratic challenger, against Scott Walker, the incumbent. And while Scott Walker was a unpopular governor, so was Donald Trump. They had similar approval ratings, and although Scott Walker is at the state level, it shows you a lot about if Wisconsin in a wave year is going to flip this state. Why wouldn't they flip it in a 2020 election if you've got a candidate like Joe Biden, for example, who's going to be coming into the state? And I think that because of that, Scott Walker losing in the 2018 election shows you a lot about what could come in the 2020 election. You see The Democrats got victories all around here. The Democrats control the state legislature. They control one of the senators, except for Ron Johnson, who the Democrats will probably get his Senate seat since he's retiring in 2022. They control 3 out of the 7 House districts, but one of them is completely gerrymandered, and this other one here is completely gerrymandered because of the Scott Walker, the governor. But if you look at it, the Democrats control politics in the state of Wisconsin. So you can't just write the Democrats off by saying this is a easy state for Trump to win. If we're looking at the polls here, and I know the polls don't really tell you much this far out, but you still have to look at them. From the state of Florida, we see Trump winning against most candidates except Biden. In the general election, Biden is up by 5 points, usually around in almost all the polls. But if we're going down here to the most recent polls from Wisconsin, it has it neck and neck, and it will be neck and neck. But for every candidate except for Biden, Trump is winning. He's winning against Booker, Buttigieg, Warren, and Sanders. But if you look at it with Biden, Trump is winning. Trump is losing, against Joe Biden from the state of Wisconsin. And that'll show you a lot. Just this poll right here, the most recent poll we have, has Biden up, and is obviously within the margin of error for Trump to come back and win. But I think if you show here, during a wave year, the Democrats had an amazing showing, winning almost everything they could here. It shows you that the Democrats, it is still a Democratic state. It went to Obama by 14 points. It's not just going to become a safe Republican state in one election. Looking at the approval ratings from Wisconsin itself here, Trump has worse approval ratings in Wisconsin than he does the national average. The worst they got was at 40% for October, but if we're looking at the most recent ones, November's approval ratings here were at 41%. That's its approval ratings. The highest they ever were was 47%, which is, if you look at it, it's exactly the vote he got in the 2016 election. So you have to look at the fact that Donald Trump is not popular in the state at all. He's losing in the polls to Joe Biden, who's the ideal candidate for the Democrats, in my opinion. He is in a blue state. Wisconsin is a blue state. He is unpopular overall. And as I pointed out, this is going to be a crucial state. If in this situation the Republicans win the state, they're 270 to 268. They won the White House. If the Democrats win the state, they're 270 to 260. They win the White House in this situation. I believe that Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are in the situation where Biden is the nominee, are going easy towards the Democrats. But in the situation where anybody else is the nominee, it will be easier for Trump. But if Biden is the nominee, I believe that the state of Wisconsin is definitely going to go to Joe Biden in this situation. You just look at the entire Rust Belt here. The best approval ratings he has is from the state of Ohio, and it's still at -5. He has terrible approval ratings, but Wisconsin is the worst of all of them, tied with Michigan. He's at -14 approval ratings. You don't just have -14 approval ratings and somehow pull off another victory where you've gotten more unpopular since the election and you only won by 0.8% of the vote in the first time, and you're losing in the polls, and they had a strong showing, overcoming, even if there wasn't a blue wave, I still think the Democrats would have been able to win almost all of these districts and attorney general wins and governor wins and everything related to that. Wisconsin is a blue state, and I believe because of that reason, it is going to go back to the blue column. The only way Trump would have a strong showing, in my opinion, is if the economy stays well. That's the thing he's going to run on, amongst other things, but mainly the only thing he has to run on is the economy. If the economy stays doing well, Trump will be in play in the state, obviously, and he'll be in play in the state anyway. Hillary Clinton didn't even campaign in the state of Wisconsin, didn't visit it once. Now you have the Democratic National Convention going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and you'll have Joe Biden here campaigning like hell if he's the nominee. And so I think that all these stats here that we have this far out from the election point to a Democratic victory from the state of Wisconsin. I'm showing you all the facts I have right now. You may disagree with me, may think Donald Trump is going to win, and I may think Donald Trump definitely can win. But we're going to have to see. It is going to be an interesting election, but I believe that at the end of the day, the state of Wisconsin is going to go to the Democratic nominee. I don't think if the candidate is Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders or Pete Buttigieg or Cory Booker or any candidate pretty much, except for Joe Biden. The state of Wisconsin will go blue, but Joe Biden is winning in the polls. I think that if Joe Biden is the nominee, Joe Biden will win the state of Wisconsin by a pretty good margin. He still has somewhat of an appeal in the Rust Belt. And I think because of that, Joe Biden will be able to win that state. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I tried to put as much facts in as possible to support my argument. Obviously, this is just an argument. It could go either way. And as we get closer to the election, we'll see more of an accurate view. This is what I think is going to happen. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and always, and I will see you guys next time.